Hey guys, we've had some people ask some questions about how to mount the Rich Solar 250 watt panel on a Transit Premium rack. So we figured we'd just go ahead and show you how to do that. I'm going to walk you through it really quickly step by step, make sure that this is a simple process for you. First of all, what we're going to do is talk about the differences on the mounting for the 200 watt versus 250. So if you look over here, notice on our crossbars, we designed this to fit the 200 watt panel, but on your 250 watt panel, it's going to look more like this because it is a larger panel. And then when you notice something, you're like, wow, how do I access that bolt? You can't. So I'm going to show you what to do. And then the other thing, if you'll get this view right here, since we designed it for the 200 watt panels, you may get a crossbar where the holes don't line up. So I'm going to show you what to do next as well. So the first step, make sure you have your formed crossbar hardware kit. And then you will also need not only the 1/4 inch spacers that we sent, but also the 1/8 inch spacers as well, because we're going to have to get this thing elevated up. Since the holes don't line up, we're going to mark where we need them to be, and then we're going to drill some new holes through our solar panel, ensuring that we don't hit the back side of the panel to damage it. So we're going to grab like a piece of wood or something. But the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and mark these. So I am going to just use a quick Sharpie here through these holes. My goal is going to be to put these in like the middle of this little mark that I make. So that way it's real simple. So there's going to be 4 holes. I'm going to select this one, that one, and that one. Okay, everyone. So now we have our holes drilled for this panel. We're going to go ahead and start attaching the crossbar to the panel. Make sure that you've got your 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch spacers, and you have your crossbar hardware kit. And the key here is this, butterfingers, this hex bolt is going to need to be seated right here as you're installing, because it needs to be able to float around, because you won't be able to access it from the top. Obviously, you're going to take a box wrench when you install it from the side to tighten. So keep that in mind, but I'm going to give you a visual of how to do this. All right, ready? Spacers, lock nut and washer up under there. I can see them. Go down from repeat the process for all the holes, both sides of the crossbar, but make sure again that you have this seated before you tighten all the way, because you've got to have this in here flopping around. Okay, so we have our little fake roof rack here set up. So the first method that I'm going to show you on installing the 250 watt panel is if you are sliding the panel in, and that would be the ideal setup because you can do it easily. But to do it that way, you have to make sure there's no obstructions like a max fan or AC already installed. So we're going to show you the slide-in method first. So I've already got the T-nuts pre-installed on my bolts, and we're just going to line it on up and slide it in here. All right, so we've slid the panel on. Next step is going to be position it where you would like. And as you can see, there's not a way to access these bolts from above. So your side plate must be off or slid away. You're going to come in with your 1/2 inch box wrench from the side, and we will tighten this up. And we're going to repeat this process of tightening on all of the bolts. Okay, so the alternate method for installation is the drop-in style. If you have a position that you need to put it where you cannot slide, so like in between a fan or an AC, you're going to have to come from the top. This is a little bit an intricate process. So once you drop it in there, you're going to have your T-nuts in the channel already. You'll drop the panel on top. You may have to get another Allen tool or something to come from the side and lift the T-nut up enough to where it can grab onto your bolt so you can start tightening. But you may have to get like a piece of metal or wire or something to lift that T-nut just to get it engaged. The other way that you can do it much faster and easier is if you purchase drop-in T-nuts, which will allow you to just put it in the channel and it's going to automatically lift. And then you can just drop right on there, very easy. So now we're going to move on to one other question that we have. What if I am putting my 250 watt panel at the very front of my rack where the wind fairing sits? How do I tighten my wind fairing when I can't get my hands down in here? Because as you can see, if it sits right here, there's no access to this bottom bolt. So I'm going to show you what to do. The first step is you're going to take your side plates and you're going to pull them off of the side rail, the 80-20 rail. So this is going to be like floating over your windshield. Make sure you don't drop this because that would be tragic. But this is going to be floating out, and what you'll do is you'll mount your wind fairing, and then you're going to go ahead and get this tightened up. So we're going to grab our second bolt and get the fairing into position. Now the trick with this is we are going to be, you may have to tighten this up and reposition it to where you get the angle right to fit your van how you want it to. But that's what we're going to do, is we're going to basically make this into a slide rack assembly. We'll tighten these up, and then once they're tight, you see you can just slide it into place. And then you'll tighten up your side plate bolts to keep everything in position. And that is how you will put the fairing on if your 250 watt panel is in the foremost position.